Hey guys, Ash from LOLS here, and I'm going to be talking about Chronotanking Vale Guardian in the Guild Wars 2 Spirit Vale raid. For starters, I run the Chaos spec instead of Domination here, as Chaos gives you protection when you have Chaos armor, as well as decreased damage for every illusion you have in the world. So it just gives you a little bit more survivability and tankiness, whereas if you were to run Domination, really the best part of that is you get Distortion for when you activate a Signet. It's really up to you which one you want to use. I prefer Chaos. It just takes a little bit more stress off of my healers. So the fight starts, and the first thing I want to do is get 3 illusions off, so then I can go ahead and do the standard weapon swap rotation to get Time Warp and all that quickness spam off. Here I got a little overzealous and decided to cast my Signet of Inspiration and then go for my Healing Wall for that extra quickness, but I went too fast, so I ended up canceling my Signet. So I wasn't able to do it 2 times, but overall it really doesn't matter. I still weapon swapped and casted the Signet, because you're still going to get that 100% extra boon duration. So try not to stress too much about that. Because you are tanking, your main concern is going to be staying alive. Your rotation is very important, but just slightly less important than staying alive, because a down tank does no good. This first part is really easy overall for Chronotank to stay alive. You do have lots of blocks. Your Shield 4 block, as well as your Sword 2 skill, your Evade are great for avoiding blue circles. You can try your offhand Sword 4 skill to block the circles, but you have to time it pretty much perfectly. So I don't take that chance because I don't want to make Vale Guardian move. You can also, of course, use your Distortion, which I do use from time to time when my shield and my sword's blocks and evades are off cooldown. So during the split, keep in mind you are the main, if not only, boon stripper. So that's what your main focus is during the Blue Guardian part. Once Green Guardian comes on, you can start with your normal rotation. It's up to you, though. Sometimes I save my rotation for when Vale Guardian comes back, because usually by the time VG is back, my Continuum Split is up, and I'm able to then use my Time Warp and that whole rotation. So that's what I did here. And then I like to start the next phase back in Sword, so I can get some clones off pretty quick and be ready to do my quickness rotation with Continuum Split. So once that green circle goes off, I'll generally try to move over and then go ahead and do the Time Warp, since everyone's going to be more nearby here. And then I accidentally, my Continuum Split ended and sent me right back where I was, of course, into a blue circle. So be wary of that. That can happen. Fortunately, we had a great ranged green circle team who was able to pay attention and get the green circle that spawned behind us. But just be aware that does happen, and because of that I took a little excess damage and I ended up going down. But that was my only down of this fight, which is why I really like the Chaos build again, because I get a little bit more survivability. You do have to walk into the colored painful areas as the tank, just to keep Vale Guardian in the right spot and ensure that green circles spawn where they're supposed to. If push comes to shove and you have to move a little early and you go down, that is better than going down in the pass section, as the green circle will spawn ahead of you and Vale Guardian will be in the correct area, especially if he goes like into his breakbar mechanic. But don't forget, again, you have your Distortion, you have your shield blocks, you have your evade with your sword, as well as your block with your sword. All of those will really help keep you alive while you're moving around. So again, we have this phase 4 split here. I actually chose to use my Continuum Split and Time Warp here, mostly because I knew that there was a good chance I would be too caught up in the insanity that is phase 5 to remember to do my full rotation. So I decided to give that extra quickness boost to everyone over fighting the green and blue guardians. Overall, our timing was still great when it came to meeting up with the Condi people at the red section. So I think it's a great choice. It's up to you, though. You can always still save your Continuum Split and that rotation for when VG comes back. So just like in phase 3, we're going to start back over in the red section. Again, I try to stay with my sword. Sometimes it's not possible, but that's how it goes. Once the green circle spawns here, though, is when I like to move over into the green section, only for phase 5 especially. So that way you can really make sure, if possible, to get VG to do its break bar mechanic in the green section. Here it didn't happen, but got it moved quick enough where it didn't really matter. So again, it's just like phase 3. We're taking him in circles, though. You do need to be more precise on when you move and really time things very well. I try to keep an eye on the green circle and use that as my signal on when to move. I tend to move when the green circle's around 3/4 of the way before going off.
Break.
Like you can see here, I got VG in the right spot over in that red section instead of the blue for that break bar mechanic, which ensures that everything is in the right section. Now, after the red, we decided to hold on green and go ahead and kill it since we're almost done. So I went ahead and did a weapon swap and used my time warp, even though they didn't even need it because we had the DPS. But this is where, you know, if your continuum split's going to end, but, you know, or your continuum split isn't up yet, but you need that DPS, just go ahead and use the time warp. Because, you know, it doesn't matter. Like here at the end, it was the end of the fight. It didn't matter if I had an extra cooldown on time warp. So that is Chronotanking VG. One of the other things that's really important to be a good Chronotank is you need a great team with you. Make sure you have good healers. I love doing a Chronotank when we have a mirror comp running and I have 2 healers or 1 Condi Druid, 1 healing Druid for the little bit of extra. Or, you know, like we had in this comp a really amazing healer. Shout out to Airwith/Relahi from our guild. And that will really make the difference, as well as, you know, having that amazing DPS team behind you. Like our group saying is, group together, win together, and that really comes into play here. So if you guys have any questions, post them in the comments below. I will also be posting the link to our guild YouTube page where we have some of our just kills that you can watch. Like we have a couple Keep Construct and our No Updraft Gorseval video. I will be doing a Chronotank walkthrough soon for Gorseval, both No Updraft and a regular run. So stay tuned for those. I hope to get those out pretty soon once I get some time away from work. And again, I will post my build in the description also. Like I said, it's a little different. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hang out with us some more. I'll also post a link to my Twitch and all that fun stuff. I do like to stream when our group raids. So thanks again, guys. Have a great one.
Need a PS?